Happy Sunday. Yesterday, Saturday, is where I ended the last vlog. I had finished cutting out all of the squares for my quilted jacket and was debating whether I wanted to do the Paula chore coat pattern or if I wanted to find another one. And I actually did find one. Where do I find that? Okay, I had to log into Etsy. So I found, it's called Quilt Jacket PDF Sewing Pattern. Very descriptive, but it is, okay, here we go. Is that, to see if it's like, if you can like see it. So it's quilted and it has a hood and it looks cozy and it doesn't look like there's like too many notions and things, I guess is the term. Like I don't need to use bias binding. The pattern actually uses old quilts. So I'm thinking my idea of pre-quilting the fabric, kind of turn inside out and turning it like I was, I don't even know how to explain what it is. Anyway, I bought that pattern. It was $10, which is a very decent price. And I've cut out all of the pattern pieces. My printer ink is very, very much running out. So I had to redraw the lines with a Sharpie, but it's fine. And I cut them out and I'm making an extra large, which I think is going to be good. Definitely oversized, but also I think I'm gonna lose a lot the way that I need to piece it together. So I wanted to make it bigger so that it would fit. So now what I'm going to do is quilt. I'm going to lay out the pattern pieces and then lay out the fabric squares in a pattern over top of it so that it is like well big enough. So probably at least a square larger than it needs to be, like 3 inches all around larger than it needs to be. And then quilt that, or like sew the squares together to make a piece of patchwork fabric and then baste it to the cotton batting and then sew it around right sides together with the liner fabric, which I'll cut out. I'm not even making any sense. So I'm continuing to work on the quilted jacket that I want to make. I did find a pattern. I'll show it to you. It is this one I found on Etsy from Riley Fitzsimmons. Good old Boston boy, according to his description. And it's a coat that uses, his patterns use like existing quilts. So like upcycling quilts found in thrift stores and I almost said charity shops because I've been watching, or op shops. I've been watching so much thrifting videos on YouTube thanks to Debbie Draws Funny and This Might Be Haunted. I think I tagged Deb in every single one of my videos. Yes, so I bought that pattern. I printed it out on my printer that is very much running low, and I did a very bad job of piecing everything together. But I'm now going to lay out my fabric squares, which I cut out yesterday. So I've got a whole bunch of fabric squares that I'm going to lay out and try to make a very random pattern. just gonna see if I can show you all of them all together. And then I'm going to start patchworking them together and hope that my sewing is straight and good, and there we go. I think it'll be really cute. I think it'll be really cute. I did realize as I was cutting these that these are probably not like cotton, so it feels like a little bit polyester-y, but anyway, it's fine. Yeah, so I'm gonna start that. Let's do it. Hopefully my table is big enough because I don't want to sit on the floor because I don't. Okay. So the plan is, actually let me move things, to simply lay, hang on. Have I mentioned I've never done this before? Actually, probably don't need all of those, but yeah, so I'm just gonna lay these out pretty randomly. My plan is not to have any sort of regularity, ideally. Ideally. And not have any two pieces, like the same pieces touching each other. Like I can't do that. That's my only rule. But they can touch kitty corner. Hopefully this works. Oh, also, it turns out I am not doing the same pattern piece in a row. Like repeating the same piece this way, which means I need one of these. Maybe one more. I should also, does it matter? I was going to say make sure that these are not repeating so that when it comes together they aren't touching. No can do. I have two in that row. That's why. It's just a big puzzle. That looks cool, right? And if we Might add one, that's 5. That's all of them, right? All of them per row. I think I need one more. No, that's enough. That's enough. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew the rows together. And the way that I will do that is by lining them up evenly and sewing a 1/4 inch seam on all of them, and then there's a whole lot of pressing and repeating. I'm going to start with this and see what that looks like. So the ladies in the quilting video that I watched suggested that I double check that I have a full bobbin before I start. So my bobbin was like 3/4 empty, so I am going to fill my bobbin. Okay. No. So I'm going to sew at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And where, pray tell, is that on here? Come see. I see 3/8 of an inch. I see, I don't know. I can't see anything. A 1/4 of an inch. Where are you? Maybe. All right, I need to measure some things. So I'm going to use this measurement here, 1/4 of an inch. I don't know if that's a good idea. And just cut a piece of tape to a 1/4 of an inch, I guess. Tell me if there's a better way. Or like, what is... Okay, so it looks like from the middle of the foot to this line here is a 1/4 of an inch. So I can use that as my guide. So I'll just keep everything lined up with this on the sewing foot as best as I can. Wish me luck. Okay, here we go. Here we go, here we go. Yeah, that should do. That should do it. I probably shouldn't spend time clipping all of the threads, but piece number 1, which way was that? Oh shoot. doesn't matter. Okay. Now we go like this. Yay! Okay, first strip done. Now I need to do it for all the rest of these. I'll see you when that's done. Okay, it is time to press. So I need to press the seams in alternate directions for the strips. So I have them in the order that I laid them out, and yeah, I'm going to finger press them in one direction, and then I'm going to press. Apparently I'm not ironing, I'm just pressing. I don't know what the difference is, but we are to press. And that's one done. Now, these ones go in the opposite direction. I do think my seams are pretty neat. I'm just gonna lay them on top of each other. Just gonna continue doing this for the rest of the strips, and then I'm gonna meet you back at the sewing machine. Do I remember which way I picked the rows up? I hope so. But they are looking quite neat, so I'm very impressed with my 1/4 inch seam sewing so far. I think this is the top of the sleeve. Yeah, I started from the bottom, and what is that Drake song? Started from the bottom. Anyway, so now, let me show you. What I have to do is put these right sides together, making sure that all of the seams are lined up, but you can see by having the alternating seams, pressing the seams in alternate directions, they should line up exactly, perfectly nice and tucked in. So I need to make sure that like they line up like that. And I think I'm going to get some knot pins, clips, and just make sure that everything looks good and aligned. I'm telling you, these clips are some of the best sewing accessories. Oh, that one is a little longer. Do I just like cheat it? I'm gonna. Interesting. I already see problems. I already see problems in that my seams aren't perfectly wanting to line up, which means I should have taken a picture to see which way they go. I think this was the top. And then that is next. I'm gonna do that. Okay. Now let's sew these together. Let's see what that looks like. That's not bad. That's not bad. Which one did I say was the top? Once I get the next one on, it should be fine. Can't be that way. What? Oh, that doesn't look very good. How is that possible? You can't see. Oh, you know what would tell me? Like, I'm confused. And then if I turn it this way, these... I'm so confused. I'm so confused. I just have to do these ones, I think, because that's what I'm gonna do. All right, wish me luck with the rest of this. I'll report back. My first panel is done. Aside from the glaring double piece there, I think it looks pretty good. There's only the one, there's only that one spot where the I don't know how that happened. Did you see it? I didn't see it. Anyway, I'm gonna press the back seams and move on to the next one. Yay! My first panel is done. Very exciting. I think it looks pretty clean, pretty crispy corners, aside from the double panels touching there. I think it's pretty good. Like, for my first time patchworking, I think it's pretty cool. And I think it looks like it's a nice selection of little floral patterns. I'm so mad about that, those two squares there. I wonder if I can, I wonder if I can live with it. We'll see. I'm gonna press the seams and then I'm gonna move on to the next one. Cool.
Hadn't been rumors at all. Things were better now, but it had been touch and go for a while. Funny how if someone had asked me who I'd be more likely to bury 3 years ago, it would have been my brother. Not funny, ha-ha, but funny, horrible.
they're hitting each other. Just want to show you how cute little Knit is laying on my self-portrait sketchbook. All right, let me try this voiceover one more time. You may have noticed that there's a lot of sewing happening here lately when historically this is like an art channel, and art happens a lot, but not as much as it used to. And I think there's probably two reasons for that. And the first one is that I'm working on this jacket project, which is taking a lot longer than I thought it would. Um, Call me a little bit naive for never having made a quilt before or done so much patch. I've never patchworked, but like, you know, learning how to patchwork and stuff. Um, I think that is taking up a lot of my time, which is fine. And I'm really looking forward to having the jacket finished. And I think I'm almost there, but it is taking a lot longer, a lot more work than I thought it would, um, which is cool. But also, like, I think I'm still in the process of adjusting to my new schedule. So in middle of July, I started working a full-time graphic design job, where before that I was doing freelance for 7 years, and my days looked similar, but a lot lighter, let's say. So I would have a very relaxed morning. Um, you know, sitting down to work at about 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock in the morning, and then going for like, you know, a nice walk at lunchtime, and then having lunch, and then getting back to the desk at like 1:30, and then like ending at 4, let's say. So it was like a um, very light, relaxed schedule. I could jump on a drawing session in the middle of the day if I wanted to. And now I'm working, so I have to show up at my desk, whether it's at home or at the office, before 9 o'clock, and then like it's still like good hours. It's like, don't get me wrong, I'm still leaving the office by 4, and I only have to be there 3 days a week right now, and work from home too. But it's like a big adjustment. So the more I think about that, the more I'm kind of letting myself off the hook of not being so prolific in my sketchbooks like I had been, um, every day since 2021, maybe 2020, like winter 2020. I have drawn in a sketchbook for the most part. Um, and I love it. I can't remember for the life of me what I used to draw so much, but I know I used to do it. I have 34 completed sketchbooks that I've done over that time, and yeah, I just um, can probably go back and look through them, but I just need to be okay, um, during this transition period. And it's not like I don't draw. I draw my daily self portrait every day. I've been doing that for a year and a bit, since May 2024, and I still enjoy doing it every day. Some days is a lot quicker than others, but anyway, all of this to say that Thank you, Louise Rising Art, here on YouTube, for sharing your abstract floral um, warm up practice. You're probably sick of me talking about this by now, but I'm going to, and everybody needs to go watch that video because it's super relaxing and inspiring. And like, you just made abstract look so easy and fun. And so I had to try it to kind of, play with my paints a little bit. And I love the outcome of these abstract florals. And I'm definitely going to do that again. I think I'm going to do it this evening when I join Debbie Draws Funny for her co-creative hour. Um, yeah, I actually ended up cutting these flowers up into cards. So I will pop them in with any sticker orders that come through my shop. I have art hang party stickers and some tulip and strawberry stickers, which are very fun. And spoiler alert, I'm going to order some washi tape, some art hang party washi tape. I know it's been a request from some people for a while. It's come up a couple of times, but I just have never really had the desire. Well, I have had the desire, but like thought through how to do it because I can't just stick a roll of washi tape in the mail, like in a just an envelope with a stamp on it. That just doesn't work. But I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna have to like unwind it and stuff like that, but I'm gonna do it. So art hang party washi tape is coming. Anyway, thanks for listening. I hope this records. Welcome to a new vlog, perhaps. Welcome to a new vlog. Have I started this vlog already? I don't know. It is Saturday afternoon. We are quilting, surprise, surprise. Knit is here, sitting on my quilting strips in full support. I started working on this quilted jacket last week, and I don't think I settled on a pattern before I signed off on the vlog because it was getting to be feature-length film. Hoping for it not to be that long this week, but I found a coat here. Coat, jacket, whatever. It's from Riley Fitzsimmons. I found it on Etsy, and it is meant to be using an old quilt. And so it's meant to like cut the pieces out of an existing quilt already. But it looks nice. It has buttons down the front, a nice hood, which I was looking for, a quilted jacket with a hood, like a chore coat, but with a hood. And so this seems to fit the bill. So I am building my fabric panels. Strip by strip, piece by piece. This is the last strip for the back. So it's nice and long. Now I have to sew all of the strips together to a piece fell on the floor. What piece was that? It has to go on the front end then, which is fine. Of course, now that I have an audience, I forget. My sewing machine's like, no, we're not going to perform properly. Anyway, continuing to work on this. I'm hoping to get all the fabric panels created today, Saturday, and then I can start I wish I could. I wish I could see. I'm gonna email my optometrist about the fact that my glasses are still not very, my vision is still not very clear up close with my glasses. Anyway, yeah, my plan for today is there's the full strip. To get this whole, so I have the back piece that I'm currently working on, and then I have the two front panels, and then I'll have all of the pieces of the quilted, the patchworked panels. And then I need to start thinking about how I'm going to quilt the pieces before I sew the jacket together. So my idea is that, I think I talked about this last time, and a couple of people have said that my idea is not going to work, but I'm going to try it anyway, and then they might be right, they might be wrong. Yeah. Finish patchworking the back piece together and then do the two front pieces, which feels like a lot for one day, but I'm going to try to get it done. And then tomorrow I will start to think about quilting the pieces and the full construction. I think the construction, once everything is quilted together, should be pretty easy. Let me show you just the enormity of this back piece is going to be pretty big. Yeah. I definitely have made larger panels than I need. I printed out the extra large coat. Typically I wear a medium/large, but because I wanted to be a little bit oversized and cozy, I went with extra large. And my pieces that I'm patchworking together are even extended beyond the pattern pieces because I'm gonna have to like trim them down to fit and stuff. But yeah, it's a lot of work. It's been a lot of work. Anyway, I'm gonna press my seams in alternating directions, and then I'm going to patchwork all of the strips together, and then I'm gonna have a big gigantic piece, and then I'm gonna move on to the front and the back. Yes. Also, in this vlog, if this is the intro to the vlog, we also spent some time sitting outside in the park this week. And I painted some loose abstract florals, which I should have turned my camera on for the creating of these, but you saw the tape. You will see the tape peel. But yes, shout out to Louise Rising Art here on YouTube for sharing her process, which definitely inspired me to make these little tiny artworks, which I will share with sticker orders from my shop. So yeah, there we go. All right, work time. Hello, it's Monday. I usually like to finish a video by Sunday so that I can do the editing and then get it up. But it's like noon on Monday, so before I take a break for lunch from work, I just want to give you a little bit of an update on where I left off with the quilt. My pattern pieces, I should say, my patchwork pieces. It all is right here. I have all of the pieces done for the jacket. What I realized when I laid everything out to take a photo of everything, I don't know if I actually did that, but maybe I did. I only made half a hood, and I only have this many pieces left of my individual squares. So I have one of the brown flower patch, which is my favorite. I have two of the blue ones. I have two of the green ones. And I have none of the orange ones. Orangey yellow ones. Everything is like tucked. So I only did half a hood, and the hood was the first one that I started with, and I guess I just kind of forgot that I needed two of them. But with only this many pieces left of like the non-daisy ones, I actually had to cut more of these. I think the hood just has to be full daisy. Yeah, so I can either just use a full piece of the daisy fabric for like the inside and the outside of the hood, or I can probably what I'll do is quilt just all of these together to make up the two pieces of the hood that I need. And then the outside of the hood will just all be these, and then the rest of the outside of the jacket will be like the patchwork of all the different ones, which not ideal, but I don't really want to go back to the fabric store to get more. So I think that's what I have to do. So I made good progress this week with a whole lot of piecing or patchworking or whatever you want to call it. This week I actually get to quilt, which is where I sandwich the patchwork pieces together with cotton batting with the liner fabric. As pieces of the pattern, I'm going to do that first, and then I'm going to sew the jacket together, which I think will be relatively quick and easy. My only consideration that I need to think about is the seams of the actual garment, because I don't want to do any bias binding and I don't want to do any like edging. So I just need to consider what I'm going to do for that. And I think I'm going to follow the construction from Ray's jacket that I made, the Paula chore coat, and it uses, I forget what it's called, felled seams, flat felled seams. I think I'm going to do that, which is where it kind of like tucks one of the edges underneath the other one, and then it's like a nice clean self-contained, almost like a French seam, but like a half of that without having to do wrong sides together. Anyway, I don't know. I don't know the rules. But I think it's working in my head. And I think this is so oversized the way that I printed out an extra large, that if I do that, it should be fine. The seams might be a little bit chunky, but I'll trim as much of the inner one as possible and just make sure like there's very little batting in there, and then I think it should be fine. Anyway, that's where I am. So we'll see what other creative things I get up to this week, but I really want to finish this because we're going camping. I'm pretty sure, 95% sure we're going camping next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So definitely going to bring you along for that. Lots of Simon shenanigans, perhaps in water. I don't know. We're going up to the base of Georgian Bay, which is our favorite home away from home. So that'll be fun. And I want to get this coat done so that I can wear it and be cozy in the wilderness a little bit. Yeah, so that's my plan. But thank you so much for hanging out. Let me know how your week went and if you had any creative fun. In addition to this, I know I'm trying to sign off the video. In addition to this, I do want to play a little bit more in my sketchbooks or outside of my sketchbooks, like I did with the abstract flowers. So we'll see. No promises. But anyway, I'm going to go so that I can eat some lunch, work for the rest of the day, and then edit this together so that I can share it with you. Okay, I'll see you next week with an update on the coat, and then also I'll take you camping. We'll go camping. All right, I'll see you later.